Our first guest live from Los Angeles is one of the great human beings of all time. Let's just put it that way.
Well,
No, I don't even think that's too strong, Peter. I believe he's one of
Really?
nature's great gentlemen.
Wow, that is what a great nickname. That's almost like a wrestling nickname. One of nature's great
And
gentlemen.
that is Tim Kurkjian, our very own Tim
Wow.
Kurkjian. Tim, how you doing?
I'm okay, Michael. I am not in L.A. I'm going to cry about this. I'm at Bristol. Long story, but we're doing the show from here, so I am not in L.A.
Oh, no.
What a terrible loss. Never mind. I'm still up. I'm still ready. Let's go.
See, that's why he's one of nature's great gentlemen. He could have faked it, Peter, and he didn't.
No.
He's in Bristol.
Hey, listen.
It's a little different than LA.
It may not be Chavez Ravine, but you can go to J. Tim's tonight and get some wings. You'll be great, Tim.
It's not going to be the same thing. My record of 40 straight years going to the World Series is over, so that's not a good thing.
Well, maybe go to the games at the stadium. That's a nice ride.
That will be the hope.
Okay. What's the keys to this series for you, Tim?
Well, I think it's the Dodgers starting pitching. I think the Yankees have an advantage in their starting pitching, starting with tonight, where Garrett Cole is the Yankees' best pitcher. He had a signature start in the postseason. Jack Flaherty's a really good pitcher, but we're not quite sure about him right now. His velocity's down a little bit. His last postseason start, he didn't strike anybody out. So to me, that's the key, is the Dodgers starting pitching, which, of course, has been decimated by injuries. Can that bullpen carry the load if that starting pitching isn't as good as they hope it will be, and if they have to go to a bullpen game, an opener game, which they did twice against the Mets? To me, that's the big key. Can the Dodgers starting pitching hold up enough to run with the Yankees starting pitching?
See, that's what I thought, Tim, going into the series with the Mets. Michael and I discussed when the Padres were up 2-1 on the Dodgers, like, who would you rather play, the Dodgers or the Padres? And Michael and I both said the Dodgers for the same reason you just said. The starting pitching is a concern. It ended up not being a concern because of that bullpen. Can the Yankee bats overcome what has been almost an unstoppable bullpen in this postseason?
Yeah, I think the Yankee offense is really, really good right now. As long as Giancarlo Stanton continues to swing it, he's one of the best postseason players now that we've ever seen. I mean, after Babe Ruth, he has the best percentage of home run per at-bat in the postseason. We know Juan Soto is going to be there because he's always there, as he proved with that ridiculous at-bat to win the series against the Guardians. And even though Aaron Judge's career postseason numbers are not great, he really started to see the ball a whole lot better at the end against the Guardians, had a couple of really big hits. So I love that Yankee lineup. It's the best it's been all year, especially with Gleyber Torres swinging it the way that he did. And if they keep Austin Wells down in the order, that's a pretty dangerous guy hitting eighth, as he was the other day.
So when we opened the show, Tim, we gave our X factor, somebody that really could help if he stepped up. And for me, it's Jazz Chisholm, because he gives us a little protection behind Stanton. Do you have an X factor?
Well, that's a pretty good one, that's for sure. As far as the Yankees go, my X factor is going to be Luke Weaver. As you know, Michael, he had a spectacular season. Those numbers are ridiculous. And for the last, 7 or 8 weeks, he's been a really good closer in the major leagues. He did have a hiccup in the postseason, but if he's right, he's really hard to hit. And it's just so beautiful how the light has gone on for that guy at age 31 with just a, adjustment to his grip on his four-seamer and now his changeup, and now both are elite. If he's the closer that we saw down the stretch and for the most part in the postseason, then the Yankees bullpen should be pretty stout.
If you had to bet right now, the Yankees, let's all assume the Yankees win the World Series, and you had to bet on a World Series MVP, would you go with Stanton or Judge?
Well, I already had to do this. I like predictions really matter this year, the most unpredictable season we've seen in a long time. But I picked the Yankees to win in 7. Trust me, this means nothing. But I picked them to win in 7. I picked Soto to be the MVP, which is, again, the greatness of this series, the greatness of the Yankees is these two monsters in the middle of the order might not even be the best hitters on the team, because the guy who hit second is the perfect guy to have have up in any situation. As you guys know, when he needs to take a walk, nobody can take a walk better than him. When he needs to get a hit, he can do that as well as Luis Arraez can. And when he needs to hit the ball out of the ballpark, he can do that as well as almost anyone. No one else in the game could do those three things as well as Juan Soto. So not like it matters. I think the Yankees in 7 and Soto to be the MVP.
Tim, any theories why they would go with Grisham over Birdie?
I'm not quite sure about that. I mean, his numbers I know are good against Jack Flaherty. I know that. So that's an interesting situation there. But I'm not sure about the rest of it. I haven't even seen the lineup yet. I've been so busy doing other things. So, but the beauty is with these lineups, they're both so good. But it's the interchangeable parts who are so important to these games.
Who's a better manager, Boone or Roberts?
Their numbers are both spectacular. I would say that Aaron Boone is by a hair a better manager in game than Dave Roberts is. I watched Booney in that series against the Guardians, and he was right there on everything that Stephen Vogt did. And Stephen Vogt's pretty darn good at this. And I saw Booney in the Kansas City series, and I sure didn't see anything that he did that was particularly wrong. So I'll take Booney at this point, but I'll also take Dave Roberts as my manager any day. And it's two guys with unbelievably great track records in their managerial careers.
Before we let you go, Tim, one thing that I thought about in this World Series, a lot of people, old-time baseball fans don't love the analytic bent that the sport is pretty much in the thralls of. But this will only further it because these two teams are probably the two most analytic teams in all of baseball. And, it's a copycat sport. Sports are copycats. And these two teams have the most analytics in the world. And here they are in the World Series. So that doesn't bode well to go back to the old days.
Yeah, I agree. But still, the managers of these teams are still old-school guys. Granted, Booney especially loves to lean on the analytics, as he should, because they can really help. But I trust both of these guys, when push comes to shove, they're going to watch the game, they're going to trust their eyes, and they might have the ability to say, all right, we're leaving this guy in for an extra inning, or we're taking this guy out because we can see something here that maybe the analytics can't.
Well, Tim, I hope to see you at Yankee Stadium so the streak would continue, okay? And thank you for coming on.
All right, Michael, it was great. See you guys soon.
Right, thank you so much. That's
awesome,
Tim Kurkjian. Tim Kurkjian right there. That must, knowing him and how he loves baseball, he's been to 40 straight World Series, and the fact that he's not at this one probably is making his heart ache. I know him.
It sounded like.
Oh yeah, it is. That's how he is. He loves the sport.
He can't just go to a game next week. Like, just say he's doing it.
Yeah, but he has to work in Bristol on SportsCenter.
Well, sometimes you got to say, "Hey, I'm Tim Kurkjian, and I'll be coming to you from Yankee Stadium," and that's how it's going to be.
So you would swing it around.
100% I would swing it around.
Hey, it's game time, brought to you by Tullamore Dew Irish Whiskey. The Knicks have their home opener against the Pacers with coverage at 7 right here on 880 following Dan Grassa. Now, the Yankees open the World Series in L.A. against the Dodgers with ESPN radio coverage starting at 7. That's over on 1050. And 880 will join in progress following the Knicks coverage. Devils host the Islanders at 7, and the Nets visit the Magic at 7. That's game time, brought to you by Tullamore Dew Irish Whiskey, because when it's game time, it's Tully time. Tullamore Dew, the original triple distilled, triple blended, triple cask matured Irish whiskey. Be sure to grab a Tullamore Dew. Try the brand new Tullamore Dew Honey during tonight's action. Glasses up to enjoying Tullamore Dew responsibly. Speaking about the Knicks game, MSG Networks are going to televise the Knicks home opener against the Pacers tonight. That's at 7:30. Now, in addition to watching the game on MSG Network, fans can now watch the game on the just-launched Gotham Sports app, where they can buy single-game, monthly, or annual subscriptions. The Gotham Sports app is a collaboration between MSG Networks and the Yes Network to deliver fans all their favorite teams all under one roof. Go to gothamsports.tv for more information. Let's go to Mike in Orlando. Start off with the phone calls. Mike.
Hey, guys. How are you?
Good. How you doing, Mikey?
Good. I got two roster points, but first I just want to say I'm honored to call on Game 1 of the World Series. Let's go Yankees.
Well,
hopefully we can finally bring this home. But So, two thoughts. The original conversation about the Grisham and the last guy on the bench. I was curious if maybe they're looking at the Dodgers matchup and seeing that there's going to be a lot more runs than the previous series, and that they're going to really intend to use Dominguez as a pinch hitter. So if they have to use him for Verdugo, I don't think they want him in the outfield at any of these games. So maybe then you bring Grisham in late in the game so that you can kind of have a good defensive performance after you use the pinch
There's one
hitters.
flaw in that thinking, Mike. I like the way you're thinking, but there's one flaw. If you're going to pinch hit for Verdugo, it's going to be against a lefty. Dominguez is not a good right-handed hitter, so you'd never pinch hit him. I mean, in fact, the two switch hitters on the Yankees, Cabrera and Dominguez off the bench, do not hit well from the right side, so they're not options against left-handed pitching. So I don't exactly know when you use Dominguez. I like how you're thinking, but
Yeah,
I'm not sure how you would use Dominguez there, because you're not going to send him up to hit right-handed because he's not a good right-handed hitter. Hopefully, though, when he becomes an everyday player next year, he solves that issue just a bit. Blanderson Hooper, you're next.
How you guys doing?
Good. You?
Good.
Good. Before I get to my Yankee point, the other day you were talking about Sarah Sherman on SNL and her being the best thing on SNL.
Yeah, I'm a big fan.
Yeah, actually, she was a student of mine. She's from Long Island. I don't know if you know that. She grew up in Great
So
Neck.
I got to ask you, was she
And
always
was
funny?
She was ham at the age of 12 and 13, just as much as she is now. She was in all the musicals and stuff like that. You knew. The only thing surprising is, I don't know if you've ever seen her actual stand-up act.
No.
It is, like, it's very risque. Not for the faint of heart.
She works blue.
That's for sure.
I love it.
But she was always a very, very funny kid.
Good to know.
As for my Yankee point,
Okay.
you talked about Cole and Rodon needing to perform like a 1 and 2. Are you at all concerned about Rodon's temperament in a stressful situation like this? Because we've seen him melt down. I worry a little bit about whether or not he could handle this particular stage.
Well, I mean, you'll never know until somebody does it. He's got good numbers against certain players on the Dodgers. One of them is Mookie Betts, and so we'll see. I think that he got over that in the first start against Kansas City. I thought he pitched great after that. He had a great start against Cleveland. So, I mean, you'll never know until you go out there. The World Series is a different stage. But a lot of the Yankees, there's only 2 Yankees with rings. So, I mean, I guess all of them might be feeling some kind of a butterfly effect, but we'll see. He is an excitable guy, and we'll see how he goes, tomorrow on the mound. And, if Garrett Cole wins today, Don, takes a lot of pressure off Rodon.
Yeah, because all you're looking for is the split. Now, you want to get 2-0 if you win Game 1, but you're right. It takes a little bit of the pressure off. We saw how pumped he was against Kansas City, and then the bottom kind of dropped out. Was he overly pumped, or did just Kansas City get him? I don't know. Every time somebody doesn't perform well, he didn't handle the pressure. Well, is it not handling the pressure, or just it wasn't your night? We put so much stock into the moment. Sometimes it's not the moment. Sometimes, you just don't have it. You're finding a way to fight through it. But you bring up a great point. The only 2 guys with rings are Rizzo and Soto. There's a ton of postseason experience, but this is the first World Series for a lot of important guys. Guys have been around for a while. Judd's been around for a while. Stan's been around for a while.
Yep.
So when I always go back to that Harry Carson when the Giants were in the Super Bowl 21. It didn't hit him until they arrived at the Rose Bowl in Pasadena, and then he saw the Giants helmet and the big banner, Super Bowl 21, and it hit him like, oh, my God, we're in a Super Bowl. The postseason's one thing, and then you get to the World Series. That's the next level. And this is it. There's no out-of-town scoreboard, like Derek Jeter said. You look up, and it's black because there's no out-of-town scoreboard. These are the only 2 teams, so you have no idea. Some of these players they'll be curious to know, too, when they show up to the stadium tonight. What's it going to feel like?
I'm going to take a big risk here, Peter. I really am. This is humongous. And
Wait. You're not going to go. What are you doing?
I'm going to say, hey, Don, tell us about BetMGM. You think that he might have that information?
Hey, listen,
available?
I punted. Now, the Michael thing is, I don't have the read. They never gave me the. Oh, here it is.
But no, they gave you the read. You just
They gave it to me.
didn't print it out. Don, let's talk to you about
For
pain.
the record, you did. For the record, Don, you didn't punt. I punched you in the stomach, took the ball, and ran myself.
Well, no, I don't think. No, I just no. You didn't punch me. I handed it right to you. I chased. Actually, I had to chase you down to give it to you. Listen, I thought I had the wrong date punched up, and then I went to scroll, and I'm like, I don't see Samuel. So it's my fault.
We're here now.
I think
Do you see BetMGM? Do you see BetMGM?
Basketball season is here, and it's time to take.